What's going on? Hey, it's Eyes on Smash Bros Radio. What's going on? Happy Tuesday morning to you. Hope your day is going well. Hey, you got Eyes on Smash Bros Radio, the only digital. Oh, well, let me go back up. The only award-winning digital radio station located where? Hey, Birmingham, Alabama, Jefferson County. What's going on with you? I'm Oz. You can find let me go back. You can find Smash Bros Radio. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook as well as YouTube, as well as download our app. We would deeply appreciate you. So please like, follow, share. We appreciate you. As for Eyes, you can find me, man, please. You can find me everywhere. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube as well as Facebook. Eyes, capital O, capital Z, lowercase z. So what you doing today? It's raining here in Birmingham. It's been raining since this morning. So going to be one of those days. But hey, we are going to make it, believe it or not, because what? God gave us the strength to wake up and to do us. So hey, that's what it's all about. We got some events coming up. Let me back up and because we got one coming up on the 30th that you need to go to. Need to go to. On the 30th. There is going to be a meet and greet book signing. You're going to have speakers, food, prizes, and it's going to be on the celebration of Curtis Cut Dog Knight's book, Raising Naz, March the 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. 105 Vulcan Road, Birmingham, Alabama. Please come out to meet Curtis and also meet Naz. Naz is something else. So let me tell you, the kid is cool. I'm telling you, the kid is just cool. For him to be young, he has the maturity beyond his age. Again, as I said before, I met Naz over at the Crescent Cultural Community Center. Curtis was delivering food for his nonprofit organization, and Naz took the initiative and started helping Curtis take the food out. Kid picked up a box bigger than he was. Now he was struggling, but let me tell you, that child had so much tenacity, so much energy. So I mean, kid is just fantastic. So Raising Naz, come out, meet Naz and Arthur, and get your own copy signed. Again, it's on March 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. There's going to be speakers, food, and prizes. So please come out and meet Naz. Yeah, I mean, he's an inspiration. He is totally an inspiration when it comes to the having motivation and all. I done lost my event. The other event is coming up November 9th, 2024. 1888 Burlington Kennel presents the Southern Bully Showdown Part 2. Oz is a proud sponsor. It's going to be at the Bessemer Civic Center, 1130 9th Avenue, Southwest Bessemer. You're going to have 4 ICBR shows. As I mentioned earlier in previous shows, this is a chance of getting the community out so that way they will understand exactly what the bully breed is all about. This will give the chance of actually seeing what true kennels, true breeders are all about. Because you have all those imposters and fake individuals. And it's a shame that this is what people's mentality is, that this is what it's all about, and it's not. The bully breed covers a lot of categories. I didn't even know the French Bulldog was a bully. I didn't even know the Corso was a bully. So you not only have the pit bull, but you have other breeds in the bully breed. So please come out if you are if you wish to sponsor, if you wish to donate, if you wish to participate, if you are a vendor, if you have a food truck, please get in touch with DeJuan Hall at 205-460-6435, 205-460-6435, and find out more about it. But please come out. Please come out. That's November 9th. Put it down on your calendar, November 9th. Bessemer Civic Center, 1130 9th Avenue, Southwest, Bessemer, Alabama. We would appreciate it. Also, on May 4th, Mommy and Me Brunch is going to be on Morris. Join us for a magical cake decorating and floral class, Mommy and Me Brunch, May 4th, 2024. Experience the ultimate Mother's Day treat brought to you by the dynamic duo, Pauline and Christopher Lauren. Don't miss out on this unforgettable event. Reserve your spots now and create special memories with your loved ones. Tiffany Build Strahan. So please, 2335 Morris Avenue, Suite 105. So come out and support, and then that's going to be on May 4th. That's going to be on May 4th. Cake it, Mommy and Me Brunch. So please come out and support all these wonderful individuals. So I was watching the news and listening, and you really have to be strong, because with all the things that are happening, they can really overpower you. So because of a kid being killed, because of suicides, I'm wondering, are we doing as much as we can to make sure that our kids are safe, that our kids understand that they have a place that they can go to? So I'm wondering, do parents take the time to actually meet the friends, meet the parents of the friends of their children? Back during the dark ages, back when I was being raised, the community raised us. Everyone was responsible for all the younger folks in the community. And so I'm wondering, do you still have that camaraderie? Do you still have that understanding? Do you still have that respect that we did when I was being raised? Now, unfortunately, or really fortunately, depending on your perspective, most of my great aunts and uncles lived in the community. They were either a block behind, or they were in walking distance in the community, in the neighborhood. And then that, there was a video that I'm going to download, and an individual was talking about there isn't any more communities, there are only neighborhoods, and it kind of perplexed me in that, what is the difference between a community and a neighborhood? And so I was going to look it up, but what I'm trying to get everybody to understand, there isn't any reason why we're not as knowledgeable as what we can be, because the information is out there. So I like to use Sirius. Sirius, what is the difference between a community and a neighborhood?
Communities are nested within other communities. A neighborhood, for example, may have other communities revolving around ethnicities, race, age, and economic interests. This answer is from worldatlas.com.
Communities are nestled within other communities. A neighborhood, for example, may have other communities revolving around ethnicities, race, age, economic interest. Worldatlas.com. How about that?
Communities are nested within other communities. A neighborhood, for example, may have other communities revolving around ethnicities, race, age, and economic interests. This is from worldatlas.com.
You know that because see, back during when I was being raised, and most of us being raised, um, there wasn't any reason for us to leave the neighborhood or the community because we had everything that we needed for the community. And if it wasn't found in the community or in the neighborhood, well, then we would go downtown, and that's where all the department stores would be. So within our neighborhood, we would have those churches in which the individuals would go to. We had our schools in the community. And so everything that involved us that we dealt with in our lives was nestled in our community, in our neighborhood. Everyone knew everyone. And so it was like one huge family. And the teenagers are going to be teenagers. So no matter what year or what century, teenagers are going to be teenagers. You're always going to have that those preteens to where we start questioning, getting a little bit more uh, inquisitive, and then we get to the teens to where we've gone not only from being inquisitive to the point of being challenging. We challenge authority to a limit. Yes, we had boundaries and we had limits back during my day. And we never questioned those boundaries. We never questioned those limits because they gave us substance, they gave us security, gave us a foundation. And there, yes, there was peer pressure, and yes, there was mixed up families. Yes, there was family problems and family dynamics, and that it was all of that and more. So now you fast forward to now, and we wonder, well, what changed? The community changed, the neighborhoods changed. You don't have that camaraderie. You don't have that relationship that was once there. So it's disheartening, but at the same time, when you just because of civilization or just because we get more knowledge or technology, does that mean that we become less human? And when I say less human, does that mean that we become less social? We don't know how to be sociable anymore. For a young adult to go out with friends and wind up dead in the river, that's frightening. And then it started provoking, all these floods of memories that I couldn't go anywhere unless the family knew the family of those individuals that I was going to socialize with. And 9 times out of 10, it was going to be those individuals either that I went to church with, went to school with, or lived in a community or neighborhood that was close to mine. When you went out on a date, it was understood that the guy would get out of the car, would come to the door, knock on the door, and introduce himself to the parent. And 9 times out of 10, the girl's parents would have already contacted the boy's parents or vice versa to find out exactly who is your son and who is your daughter. And it was understood that there were limits, there was boundaries, there was limitations. There was an understanding that this is what is permissible. This is what's okay to do. And we never questioned it because we had boundaries. See, when I was younger, I was taught that we were supposed to have expectations, we were to have obligations, and we were to have responsibilities. So expectations, obligations, responsibilities. That was drilled into my head. You had obligations. There were certain things that you had to do. You had responsibilities that on Saturdays it was you were supposed to clean up the bathroom. You're supposed to take out the trash. You're supposed to clean up. We had boundaries. We knew exactly what we could and could not do. It wasn't questioned. We spent most of our time, 98% of our time, we spent outside. And yes, I know about the games, I know about the social media, and you can still afford your child or your children, the time, but there should be a time limit in which we allow the kids to be on social media. And there should be a time that it's time for you to go outside. It's time for you to ride your bikes. And I understand that even in the community now that you have to be extremely cautious when you're riding your bikes because see, back during the old days, we rode bikes. We played in the neighborhood. We played outside. At the same time, we had the neighbors that were always outside watching us. They were talking between each other and sitting on the porches and all, but we were well taken care of. We knew that we were loved. We had that sense of security, that sense of safety, being safe. And so we had bullying. And I was fortunate I wasn't bullied that much because most of the people who liked me were the were the football players. So, so plus I wasn't into crowds. I wasn't into being around that many people. So, hey, natural. Um, I'm, there are some things that we have to go back to the basics, to the basics. We have to understand that no matter what century we live in, we still are responsible for the younger generation. We are still responsible to making sure that the younger generation understands the boundaries, understand the responsibilities, understand the obligations. And you never question. And as long as they question in a respectful manner, there shouldn't be a problem. And yes, it's okay to say that because I told you so. You got nowadays that, well, you can't tell them. Yes, you can. I'm old. I can do what you can't do. Well, that's not fair. Well, when you ask it's old, well, then you can do it. But right now, you're going to do what I ask you to do. And there are consequences for your decision. So do it, don't. But understand that with your decision comes consequences. We give them enough of leeway so that way, once they become a young adult, they're able to make decisions and understand. In the 20s, you have this huge pillar of pluff. And so when in your 20s, when you make these mistakes and all, the pillar is there, the pluff is there, the feeling is there. So that way, when you crash, you don't crash hard. And then in your 30s, what you didn't learn in your 20s, well, then the pluff, the filler is not so much in there. And so when you crash, it's a little bit harder. And then in your 30s, in your 40s, same thing, less pluff. So eventually, now if you're hard headed like me, it took me till I was 50. My late 40s and early 50s, because I was hard headed. And there are some kids who are hard headed, and yes, they're going to make mistakes, and we should expect them to make mistakes, but not to where it's a detriment to them. We owe this younger generation, we owe it to them to provide them with a sense of security, with a sense of loyalty, with a sense of camaraderie, with a sense of understanding that I have these people that have my back. Churches were a central part. It was understood in my home, my grandparents' home. You had to go to church. You had to go to church. There wasn't a question about that. You had to go to church. And it wasn't just a service, you had to go to Sunday school. And see, 9 times out of 10, when you went to church and you went to Sunday school, your Sunday school teacher was your damn teacher in your school. Because see, everybody lived in that community, everybody lived in that neighborhood. I couldn't do anything in the neighborhood because everybody knew who my parents and great grandparents and my great aunts and uncles were. Everyone knew that I was Sid and Annie B. Carter's great grandson. Everybody knew that I was Roy and Evelyn Carter's grandson. Everybody knew that I was a great nephew of Barney and Eunice and what is it, Ed, and everybody knew who I was. I couldn't do shit. There was a certain way I had to walk. There was that old, there was Miss Gray, who was always on the damn porch. You had to say good morning to her. Oh, I despise that woman. I really did. I really did. But I didn't understand the importance of what she was doing. I thought she was a nuisance. I thought that she was just being mean spirited. And she wasn't. She understood the assignment. She understood her responsibility of watching the kids. You know, I go past now and I see little babies, and they're not babies, they're probably in elementary, sitting on the corners, and I don't see cars, I don't see parents around them. And it horrifies me to think that what if, and I hate the what ifs. What is it going to take for us to come to the point to where we have to be more diligent, we have to be more aware of the younger generation? And yes, it's hard. I admit, I have so much admiration for the parents because the system, the system is just messed up. But I know that I have enough of faith, that I have enough of understanding that these parents are going to do what's best for their child, for their home. But likewise, the other adults, we have to become selfish too, because this is the next generation. These individuals are going to be the representation of us when we are old. So what are we going to do? You have suicides that's becoming more prevalent because of bullying. Do you understand what it would take for someone to get to that point? You know, if you don't, let me tell you, those of us who suffer from anxiety and depression, there is multiple times in which we think about just saying, fuck it, and just doing away with it. But we have enough of substance, we have enough of awareness, we have enough of a core that we don't do it because we know the implication of if we were to do that, there were going to be others that's going to be affected by that. And in most cases, we're able to control those demons and keep those demons at bay. But for a child, for a teenager to feel so overbearing, so burdened, so hurt, that the only way out that they fear is to commit suicide, that's an atrocity. That's an atrocity. Doesn't make sense to me. And it hurts. So what is the solutions? What are the solutions? Well, some of the solutions are having mentor um, organizations. You have C4. You have New Generation. You have the Man Project, Influence for Today for a Better Tomorrow, and you have Ties to Success. All four of these organizations, or you can't get any better. C4 follows middle school all the way up to high school, and they have summer field trips or summer trips that they go on. And then at the end, once these young men be, uh, become seniors, C4 gives these young men suits. So if you are affiliated or if you have some type of connection to men apparel shops, please get in touch with C4. You can find them on Facebook, C4, and try to start some type of relationship with them so that way um, you can assist them in giving these young men suits. Let me tell you, it does not take much. These kids do not want much. What's up, man? What's up? How's Naz doing? I talked about your book signing coming up on the 30th. So I told him about the book signing and coming out and supporting you, meeting you and meeting Naz. So I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate you. Free. If let me tell you, let me back up for a moment. If you are in need of learning how to relax, or if you need a masseuse, if you want to learn yoga, get in touch with Naturally Free and check her out. Check her out. Oh, I'm looking forward to meeting Naz. I told everybody that the first time I met Naz was over at the Crescent, was it Crescent Community Center, and how he picked up a box. How he picked up a box bigger than him. So I'm looking forward to seeing Naz again and getting a book. I'm getting a book. So I'm hoping that everybody will come out and meet and greet uh, you and Naz. So it's going to be great. 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 So I appreciate you stopping in. Thank you so much. So uh, people don't seem to understand it doesn't take much when it comes to a child. They don't ask for much. They don't. They don't want that much. All you have to do is show that child some attention, show that child some affection, show that child that you have their back. Make sure that that child understands that they have boundaries, they have responsibilities, they have obligations. You have to, you know, teenagers say, well, they don't want structure. Teenagers want structure. That's how we are as humans. We want structure. We want to know the do's and the don'ts. We want to know the boundaries, and that's how you become. That's how you create a productive adult. In that you give those individuals that you start them out. You start them out. So C4 follows guys from from middle school all the way to high school. And then you have the Man Project, Influence for Today for a Better Tomorrow, Richard Cade. He, the Man Project, uh, Richard has it so that they have an event to where the guys come out and learn how to do, to change your oil, to change your brakes. Also, excuse me, he has it so that way they go on a camping trip. So do you not understand the importance that when you a suit has an implication, has an empowering effect, going camping for the first time, understanding what camping is all about, understanding how to change your oil, change your tire, change your brakes. Do you not understand the empowerment that you give? Do you not understand the simplicity of doing all of that? Do you not understand the simplicity of showing attention, showing love, showing support? Do you not understand how much empowering that you do to that young adult? It has substance. It has feelings. Then you have ties to success, and that's TIES, the numeral two success, and that's KD Dunn, and he gives ties. So again, if you are affiliated, or if you know, if you have some type of relationship with an apparel shop, please, because ties to success gives a tie to the mentees, and it still goes back to owning something, owning an article of clothing. That tie, learning how to tie a tie, man, please. The empowerment, the confidence that is evolved, that is created, you'll be surprised. See, back during my day, we had the boys club, and you went to the boys club and you learned how to, they had the different sports, you had swimming, you had arts and crafts and all. Then you had the YMCA. So see, you had these organizations that were in the community. You had community centers that you would go to during the summer. So, you have these organizations that have these men of substance that is giving back to the community, but likewise, they need support from the community to make sure that they continue to be successful. So you have C4, New Generation Mentoring, the Men Project, Ties to Success. They're looking for sponsors, they're looking for donations, they're looking for support. And sometimes you're not able to volunteer, you're not able to become a mentor. And understand, being a mentor is hard. It's not. These men of C4, the Men's Project, Ties to Success, they have a life. And when they take from their lives to give back, do you understand? Do you understand the relationships, the rapports that are created, that are lifelong, life evolving, life changing? So if you're not able, well, donate, be a sponsor, be a sponsor, donate ties, donate equipment, food. The Man Project, during the camping, sometimes they need supplies, they need food, they need volunteers. So once again, C4, New Generation Mentoring, the Man Project, Influence for Today for Better Tomorrow, Ties to Success. 4 outstanding mentoring groups, organizations that need your help. And when you give to these organizations, you're giving back to the community. You're giving life to a young man, to a young woman. And we can do it. We can, there's strength in numbers. There is strength in numbers. And we have to do better than what we're doing. We have to. We're struggling, folks. And I hate coming on here but I want to be positive, because there's positivity out there, because you have those individuals who giving back to the community. Curtis has a nonprofit organization. Curtis, if you're still on, what, I can't remember your nonprofit organization. Please forgive me. But Curtis has a nonprofit organization in which you can go, and also if you wish to donate. So see, you have these individuals who are giving back, but they need help. When we have kids in elementary school, we go and support the little plays and programs and all. But we forget sometimes we're not as focused or as engaging as what we are in middle school. And we have to understand that those are the kids that were in elementary school. Those are the same kids in middle school. They still want to see us. They want to see their family out there. They want to see their moms and their dads. That's empowering when they have, breakfasts, and when they have fathers and daughters dances, and what is it? Ursula Smith uh, does a father and daughter dance, and it's a way of creating this relationship. Because see, the first man that a girl understands is going to be her dad. Her dad is going to set the example, is going to set the stage for this is what you want, baby. This is a man. Same way when it comes to a son. I think there should be mother and sons dances. So you have Ursula Smith that has a dance troupe. Check her out. Ursula Smith. She does also the black oh goodness, Nutcracker that comes up in December. So you need to check her out. So you have Curtis that has a nonprofit, and I'm going to find out what that is. Oh, let me see. 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 Let me do this quickly. So, uh, but we have to do better than what we're doing. We have to. We have no other choice. We have no other choice but to do better. Let me see. Hopefully, I can find it quickly. Got to start writing these down. I'm getting old. But we can do better. We just have to make time. That's all. We just have to make time. And we can. And parents, let me tell you again, I have so much admiration for you, so much respect because I know that it's hard. I know, because you are being bombarded on a constant and consistent basis. And then with the way that everything is, oh boy, it's just something else. I got to find it. So, but you have these organizations that are doing their best to give back to the community and they need help. But we have to do better than what we're doing. We have to. We have no other choice. Really, in the bigger picture, we have no other choice but to do better. We have examples of the past of what's worked. Most of it, again, we had Boy Scouts, we had Girl Scouts, we had the Boys Club, we had the community centers, we had the YMCA, we had all these organizations that helped the parents out. In the community center, most of the time, the coaches ran the community center. The head coach or the athletic director, because when there was certain projects or certain events and all, you had to pay. But 9 times out of 10, most of the extracurricular activities were free. And connected to that, you had the community swimming pools. So see, that's why it's so I get so upset with the city hall, because what are you giving back to the communities? What are you giving back to the neighborhoods? Where is the residuals coming from? How come we don't have enough of businesses that we can make sure that every household has internet? Every household is connected. How come there's not a community center for the communities anymore? How come the social services aren't in place? How come there isn't one hub where everybody can go to? And see, that's another thing. It's coming together as a group and placing everything so that way there's one place one place to go to, because you have the food stamps in one place, you have the housing in another place, you have Social Security in another place, you have all these other social services that are spread out, and you have enough of empty buildings. And like I mentioned a long time ago, you have a building downtown that's right in back where the Social Security administration used to be. You have that big old building that's in back of the Civic Center that is not being utilized, that could be utilized. So, and it already has the parking spaces. So see, you have the bottom layer, the bottom level in which you could have a restaurant, you could have social events or a venue to, people could go and do the weddings or do the whatever, birthday parties, receptions. You could even have a wedding and reception, half the cost of going down to another venue. So you can, you could have a professional kitchen. So that way, when you have these events, these individuals already have one place to go to. And then on the top floors, you could rent them out for businesses. And then on the top floor, you could have a radio station or a television station or some type of social something, or studios. You have this place to where everybody, because from what understanding, everyone is in need of a studio. Then these prices are reasonable. And you have this up-to-date theater. So it can be done. We have to do better than what we're doing, people. We have to. We have no other choice. We have a generation that is lost for whatever reason. For whatever reason. We have a generation that's lost, that doesn't feel secure, that doesn't feel loved, that doesn't feel supported. But again, I think that going back to the basics, going back to where you teach them the boundaries, you teach them that you have an obligation, you have responsibilities, you have expectations. And I think that if you lay these out, you would see a generation that would bounce back. That when it comes to bullying, and then these individuals, these bullies are malicious, and they should be dealt with. I think there's some type of mental illness that when a child is that bully, that's that evil, that they say. Now, understand, teenagers are going to say things, but there is a line. There's a line. They're more horrendous. They're more physical than back during my day. So there's a disconnect somewhere. Either this child is angry, either this child is fighting back because of something that's happening inside the household. Something. That's why I think that these social services should be to the point to where you have counseling. You have these grants so that way you can open up to these kids that are having problems. Not problem kids, but kids that have problems. But we have to do better. We have to do better. The 4 mentor organizations can do just so much. Get these kids involved in dance. Get in touch with Ursula Smith. Fantastic dancer. Of course, I'd be prejudiced. Of course, because I love Ursula. I love Ursula. Get in touch with Ursula. Get these kids active. I was thinking this morning that maybe it's time to have a charter school. And I don't like the word charter school, but my charter school would not be that of what the norm. My charter school would have the curriculum that is aligned with the Southern Associations for Schools and Colleges. My charter school will make sure that everybody is well rounded, that the younger kids will learn Latin. That is one of the required courses in the charter school, is that my kids will learn Latin, because if you teach these kids Latin in the earlier days, then Latin can be the foundation to learning other foreign languages. My kids will be involved in everything, every asset when it comes to being a productive individual. But we have to do better. We have to do better. We have to. We have to do better. So, if you are affiliated, if you have a relationship, if you know of a manager, or if you know how to get in touch with individuals that have apparel shops, if you know of an individual that has an organization that can provide services, please, 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 please get in touch with the four mentor uh, organizations. And again, be a sponsor, be a volunteer, donate, because they need help. You have, was it Be a Blessing Birmingham? Get in touch with Star Rob. But we have to do better, and we can do better. We can do better. We can. We have it in us, and it's just that you just got so much on us, and we don't think sometimes. But parents, man, I have so much admiration for you. I adore you. I, your strength, your tenacity uh, is unparalleled. You're just wonderful. You're just wonderful. Uh, but something has to be done, so that way these kids feel more secure. They feel more loved. They have a foundation that they can build upon, because these suicides and these kids being murdered because of friends and all, something just has to be done. And I think becoming more involved with the kid's life, understanding that, okay, I know, who is this that you're going out with? Have I met the parents? Who are their parents? If I don't know your parents, you're not going nowhere. Don't even try it. If you're dating, who is this guy? Who's this guy's parents? Who's this girl's parents? And there's an understanding, there's a camaraderie. And see, that's why I believe in arranged marriages, because sometimes, and see, that has a bad implication, but they've always been arranged marriages. The monarchs had arranged marriages because they understood the significance, the importance of joining these two houses together. Because if you have someone from England, if somebody and someone from Spain, then you have that connection between the two countries. Same way when it comes to families. I don't believe in having ugly children. I don't I don't believe in having ugly grandchildren. So I mean, if you have friends, and and there's a long relationship with these families, your mamas and daddies were friends, and then you and their children were friends, and you grew up together as friends, and you socialized together, you celebrated events together. Why not arrange a marriage? And when I say arrange a marriage, it's not getting down to you. This family has the same beliefs, say it's the same core values that you do. Why would you not want your child to be a part of that, so that way there's no misunderstanding about that? Well, this year we're going over. No, 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 because we already gathered together anyway. See, as I told you, this is 2024. What was the tradition back then? You don't have to have any more. Your grandparents are gone. Grandparents are gone. It's time for you to create new traditions. It's time for us to step up and create this strong foundation that this is what we believe in, this is what we're going to do. These are the boundaries. This is your responsibility. This is your obligation. It's understood. And it can be done. It can be done. It should be done. But we have to do better. We have to do better. We have to. We have to do better. No other choice. No other choice. But it's left up to y'all. It's left up to y'all. Churches have got to get more involved. Everyone knows my sentiments when it comes to these mega churches. I think I have a I do have a I do have a problem when you have minorities going to certain churches, and those churches are not fulfilling their obligation to the congregation. Because I think that if you have blacks going to white churches, and I wonder, why do you have blacks going to white churches, but you don't have whites going to black churches? Good question. Don't know the answer. But you have these mega churches that are not giving back. And then they may be, but they're not advertised. And you're not, and again, I understand you're not supposed to advertise, because if you're doing it from the heart, you don't need to advertise. At the same time, you should acknowledge exactly what programs your churches are involved in and what they are promoting. I would wager that with these mega churches that have all these campuses all over the United States, I think there are about 6 or 7 mega churches that have campuses all over Birmingham. I think that if you were to do a forensic audit on their books and all, you might be surprised at where the money is going to and where the money is coming from. Because I think that once you reach a certain size, that the origin or the initial gold standard has totally eroded. It's not what it was in the beginning. Mission statement, that's what it is. I think that the initial mission statement is no longer, because once you become large and all, you become greedy. You become extremely greedy. You forget who you are. You forget who you're supposed to be ministering to. So see, I have a problem with blacks going to white mega churches, whereas you don't have whites going to black mega churches. There's something that, and then they have always said that Sundays is the most segregated day. So, all this is we have to do better, people. We have to do better. We have to give this younger generation a better understanding of what their obligations are, what their responsibilities are, what their goals are. We have to. We have to come back to providing these social services to where you have a community center. You have these organizations similar to the YMCA, the Boys Club. So we got to do better, folks. We have to. I appreciate you. I appreciate you tremendously for coming on and listening to me. Don't forget, on the 30th, you got to come out and you got to meet Nash. You got to. November the 30th of this month. Please come out. And then you have the Bully show, and then you have Mama Cakes. So please, 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 please. You know that I love you. Know your value. Know your worth. Know that when it comes to you, you control everything about you. You can change. You can modify. You can improve. Know your value, know your worth, and most importantly, know that I love you more than I love my luggage. Y'all be safe out there. Take care.